All right. Hello, everybody. The seat is horrible. It keeps sinking down. All right, let me get adjusted. Okay, so this time the camera, yes, I can see all the stuff on the desk. So pardon my little mess here with my outline and my phone so I can watch the chat as it comes on. But how is everybody tonight? We have a fun weekend coming up, Thanksgiving. It's one of my favorite holidays. In fact, it is my number one favorite holiday because you have the joy of being around family and food and fun times without the pressure of gifts. So I love Thanksgiving. It's always been one of my favorite holidays. I am totally in the Christmas mood and the holiday mood and the Thanksgiving mood this year like never before because I feel like last year I just kind of missed out because I was in the throes of postpartum blues and learning how to nurse the baby when she wanted nothing to do with it. So I feel like I have like to just party hard this year because I missed out last year. So yes, Joyce, it is good to see you. I hope you are feeling better and recovering from surgery and everything's back on track with the baby. So I'm glad that you're here tonight. Thanks for joining. And then Amber and Chanello, Jordan, tired but almost no pain. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Be praying for Joyce. She had emergency surgery. So, that's always fun when you've got a brand new newborn. So I'm glad that you got that all taken care of before Thanksgiving and you can enjoy the holidays with your family, hopefully. Also be praying. I had mentioned my friend Ashley. She comes on here as Ashley L. sometimes, I believe, but her stepfather had COVID and also developed pneumonia and all this other stuff, and he did end up passing away last week. So pray for her mom, especially as she goes through this loss. And her mom had also had COVID and did recover, but she's still pretty weak from that. So I know if you pray for her, then even if you don't know their names, just pray. God will hear it and he'll know exactly who you're talking about. So just pray that God will comfort her during this time. It's obviously hard losing a spouse, especially right around the holidays. So, and then with Ashley just having a newborn, it's hard for her to travel, far away. So just pray for them as they go through this. Oh, I thought you already had surgery, Joyce. Okay, she had posted that she was getting ready to, so I guess she did not have surgery yet, so it won't be till next week, but the pancreatitis is calmed down now. Well, that's good. So hopefully you'll have a calm holiday and it won't flare back up before you get the surgery. So, oh, I see. Surgery on December 1st. So pray for some of our ladies. They are getting ready to deliver here in the next, we have one due next week on December 1st. And then we have another one due in January. So be praying for them as they are getting ready to deliver their babies as well. So, but I had this topic. One of the ladies in my church actually asked me to do this topic. So this is for you if you're listening. And she wanted me to specifically do it on mood swings, hormones. She's newly married and she's finding out all the stuff that goes along with getting to know your husband and adjusting to life together and, all this hormonal stuff thrown in the mix. So I wanted to do it for you. Oh, she just left a comment. So this one is for you. So Sarah is also going to be helping me out, Mrs. Turner, because she knows a lot about this subject when it comes to herbal supplements, and we're going to be getting into that. I have not found personally for me that herbal supplements help all that much, but I have found that herbal supplements help my milk. So it's just kind of figuring out what works for you, what works for your body. Everyone's body, adjusts different ways, reacts different ways to different herbs and stuff. So always just be in tune to your body. And if you are sensing a bad reaction, back off. Because I know Julia, there's Julia. Yeah, so Julia, she started on an herb specifically for milk production, I believe, right? And she started noticing that she was having really bad side effects from it. So just be careful. So she backed off of it and then she felt fine. And I happened to notice too, I tried a herbal supplement that Sarah, Mrs. Turner, had actually made for me. And I've tried it 3 different times now. And every single time I get it has the opposite effect of what it's supposed to on my body. So my body does not react well to it. And you'll have to put down, Sarah, what's in that. So I don't react well to it at all. So I've only taken it a few times and it's made my anxiety worse. So I'm staying away from that. So you'll have to put down what's in there. Shatavari made her psycho. And see, I took Shatavari and it was fine for me. So it just depends on what your body, is used to or whatever. So okay, but we'll get into that a little bit down on the list. But I wanted to talk about this because, when I was married young, I was married at 20, and I don't remember, and I got pregnant right off the bat, like literally a month into marriage, I was pregnant, and I don't seem to remember having many mood swings. For me growing up, things were pretty stable with me growing up when it came to my moods and my hormones and my emotions. I'm very regulated. My cycles have always been regulated. And yeah, just a disclaimer, if you're a guy, just tune out. Don't even listen to tonight's show, please. I don't know why, if you're a guy, why you'd be listening to me anyways. But this is like for women's ears only. Okay, so we're going to be talking about being a woman. So if you're a guy, I don't know why this would interest you, unless maybe you want to understand women a little bit more, and good luck with that. So if you're a guy, you might just want to tune out. I'm going to try to be looking at the chat. And you know what, Julia, my phone is at 34%. So we'll see if it even makes it through the whole show. So I might not be able to do the chat. If I'm going to try to, I'm hoping my phone holds out, but I don't know if it will. So, but some women are opposite when it comes to hormones and emotions, and they tend to have mood swings while pregnant. So obviously any supplement that we do discuss or talk about needs to be gone over with your doctor or your midwife if you see them. Now, that's kind of, I've taken supplements before and I have not discussed it with my doctor or midwife just because I've done my due diligence when it came to researching it. I knew the pros, I knew the cons, I knew the risks associated with it. So I didn't feel like it was really any of their business what I was taking. I would just caution, if you are pregnant or nursing especially, you want to do your due diligence in searching these things out. Also, you do want to know if it's going to have any contradictions when it comes to things like maybe bleeding. Because I know even with over-the-counter meds, you have to be careful. Take Advil, for instance. If you are pregnant, you are not supposed to take Advil at all in any form in the last trimester of pregnancy, because it can have something to do with valves in the baby not developing right or developing too early or something along those lines. I just know it could be bad for the baby. Also with aspirin could cause you to bleed more. So, just go over this with. Those are all the disclaimers I'm putting out there. So definitely do your due diligence and go off of what you research. But as I was preparing this outline, I saw a saying that someone had shared on their story. I believe it was one of my Facebook friends. Her name is Denise. And I really loved it. And it kind of tied in with this whole theme of mood swings and hormones and just being a woman and dealing with all that. And this was what it said. It said, kids aren't your kids aren't responsible to know how to navigate their parents' tempers, mood swings, and or depression. If you grew up thinking otherwise, this could be a key indicator to why you feel overly responsible for other people's well-being while unknowingly neglecting your own. And that really hit me pretty hard, because I have to admit, I am very in tuned to how people are feeling, and I tend to focus on the needs of others while overlooking my own needs. I tend to put my own needs on the back burner, my own thoughts, sometimes my own feelings when it comes to things, whether that's in how someone treats me, if I'm getting enough rest, enough downtime, whatever that is. I don't want to be the parent that blames all of my moods and my temper, my bad day on what my kids are doing. or how they're making me feel. My kids, most of my kids are not adults. So they're learning how to manage their own emotions and their temper and their feelings, and they go off of example. So how I react is how my kids are going to ultimately react. And believe me, I see a lot of my shortcomings come out in my kids. I see strengths come out in my kids, but I also see a lot of my shortcomings, and I'm like, ouch, I know where they got that from. So let's go over mood swings and what we can do to help them and help the home run more smoothly. So one thing that you need to do, and this is one thing that's helped me in my life, is recognize when mood swings will happen. And I'm going to be trying to keep an eye on the chat as I go. I don't know if I'm doing a good job keeping up with it. But yeah, I'm hoping that Sarah can kind of run. She knows a lot about the subject, probably more than I do. She's probably researched a lot more. Julia knows a lot about it. And then also if Nicole pops on later, there she is, then Nicole knows a lot about it too. So they have done a lot of research into herbs. There's also shows that I've done with them where I've done shows with Nicole specifically in the past about herbs and things. So definitely look those up if you want to know more. Yes, Chanello, I definitely agree. And I also believe too, and as you found out, that even just being in the ministry, you tend to be watching out for the needs of other people. So then oftentimes our needs get neglected or they get put on the back burner, and then we're just burned out. We're sick of it. We're sick of thinking of other people all the time, and we get burnt out, and that's not a good place to be. So you need to recognize that before you get to that spot. And there have been times in the ministry in the past where I have gotten burned out. And when I start getting irritated with absolutely everyone and everything and what they're doing, I know it's a heart problem with me, and I'm on the edge of burnout, and I need to really reevaluate. So, but yeah, this is one thing that's helped me, is recognizing when mood swings will happen. I really recommend the book. Karen Rodriguez had mentioned it on her channel a few weeks ago. Oh, what is it called? It's something about basically, knowing the different cycles that our body goes through. So in a month, a woman will go through, basically has 4 weeks, and each week is different for what her body is going through. I believe that that is God's perfect design, and I believe he designed that. I believe he designed our bodies in such a way that we can know our fertility, we can know our cycle, we can know what's going on, we can know which hormones are going to hit. So for me, I have to be careful around certain times. The fourth week, especially, people irritate me a lot more. And people irritate me a lot easier, and I have a shorter fuse with my kids and my husband. So I have to be careful that week. And I think that's true pretty much for probably every woman that has 4-week cycles. Now, I will say during pregnancy, my moods tend to stabilize and my hormones tend to level out when I'm pregnant. I have good pregnancies when it comes to that. I'm very even killed. I don't know why it is, but so, I've been pregnant a lot in our life, 8 kids times 9, and then, counting the miscarriages too. So I've been pregnant a lot of months. So I've been even keeled for a lot of the time. It's after pregnancy when it hits me. It's the postpartum, the whole entire first year. I am finally past that. Hannah turned 1 last week. I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. We made it through. But it was a tough one. It was a tough year. So just recognize in your cycle, I tend to have the first 3 weeks are pretty good for me. I love being around people. I tend to have a lot more patience and compassion and a long fuse when it comes to just being around people, interacting with people. So just recognize that at different times of your cycle, it might be good for you to just kind of lay low. Maybe skip that social event where there's going to be a lot of people. Maybe stay home while your family goes and does something. Get some downtime. Use that 4th week just to really reflect. And I do find myself becoming more reflective. I find myself wanting to write more or jot down my thoughts or just catch up on things around the house, such as, monotonous book work or, bills or schoolwork or grading or recording the grades. I tend to be more inner reflective when it comes to that. So, just recognize your cycles. Now, when it comes to pregnancy, Some women are like me where they even out. And then some women, their hormones go crazy and they're like, what is wrong with me? I am not, especially if it's their first baby. This is not me. This is not my personality. What's going on? And as far as herbal supplements during pregnancy, I'm not really sure of a lot. If, Nicole or Sarah, if you guys know of anything on this, when it comes to pregnancy, I would just, with your hormones during pregnancy, I think more of it is going to come to a mind over matter type thing. You just really need to recognize that, one, you're going to human being. So you're going to be, especially if it's your first, your body's going to be like, whoa, what's going on? Give yourself grace. I hope that your husband will give you grace. And just realize that you've got 9 months. If your hormones go crazy, maybe you're one of the lucky ones that it levels out after pregnancy. No, I'm going to throw this in there too. I don't want to be one of these women that's like all medication is bad all the time. Never look into it. If you are having suicidal thoughts and you are in just the throes of depression, you are having crippling anxiety where you can't function, where you just want to hide under your covers, not face the world, something is wrong. And I would suggest setting up an appointment with your midwife and telling her your feelings. There are medications that you can go out on during pregnancy that will help. And I am not against a woman taking those. I personally have never had to get to that point. But like I said, I'm different than most. I usually have pretty even hormones and emotions, especially during pregnancy. This past year was probably the hardest I've ever faced, but I'm through it now. And I never even, when I was going through it, thought I was to the point where I needed to seek help. I never had thoughts of harming myself, harming the baby, But if you are having thoughts of harming yourself, harming the baby, you definitely seek help. Please seek help. So I am not against those, but let it be known that with every medication, there are side effects. And just like I said, this whole program, I'm going to say, do your due diligence. You have to research this stuff for yourself. Don't go off what I'm just telling you. Get advice. Talk to other moms that have been through it. Talk to other moms that have taken the medication that you're looking into. I know there's groups on Facebook. There's support groups, women in your church. There's a wealth of knowledge just in this church alone. I mean, I'm always gleaning information from the other ladies. We throw ideas off of each other. So take advantage of those. But recognize when mood swings are happening because of stress. Maybe there's too much stress in your life. And I'm constantly reevaluating when it comes to my life. What can I get rid of? When I was younger, I wanted to do it all. I wanted to be super mom. I wanted to be super wife. I wanted to be super assistant pastor's wife. And that's just part of my personality. And as I've gotten older, I've learned that I have to scale it back. Like I talked about a few weeks ago, the things that are important in my life, I have to decide what is important and what I can say no to, what I can scale back on. And thank goodness when it comes to the church, we have so many ladies now that are stepping up and doing the things that I don't like doing. And that would be baby showers. I love baby showers. I feel very inadequate at planning them though. Bridal showers, that would be decorating for Christmas. So I love all of you ladies that have stepped up and taken a part in that, because I feel like you do such a good job and you do so much better than I do. And if it wasn't for Pinterest in those early years, I don't think anything would have gotten done. But those are just things that are not my genre and they really stress me out. So if the opportunity comes where ladies are like, I'll do it, I want to step in, I want to help, then please, help. So if you're one of these women that, maybe you're a pastor's wife and there's something that you just really don't like doing all that much, and someone at your church is willing to do it, let them do it. It'll take a lot off your plate. There's no harm in saying, I'm just not good at this, I can't do this, whatever. Let them do it. So that would be That would definitely be my suggestion when it comes to that. So, okay, let's see. Yeah, you guys all keep chatting to yourself. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up with the chat the way this is. So, yes, Pinterest is my best friend as well. It helped a lot. But now the ladies that like do the showers, they do such a good job. And it's so nice. Okay, so, and then even burnout. Recognize if you're coming into an area of burnout in your life and recognize the warning signs. For me, the first warning sign is everyone's driving me crazy. My kids, my husband, everyone at church. I just want to go find a cave and sit there and meditate on life. That's how I know I'm on the edge of burnout. When that happens, I know it's time for me to recharge. And even though I'm an extrovert, because I'm around people so much, sometimes I just need to take a couple days and separate and, like Jesus, just get alone with myself. He was around people all the time, and he took the time to get away and recharge, and then he was able to come back in. So for me, I recognize those signs now. When I was younger, I didn't, and then that would lead to problems, because then you do have a short fuse. You might say something to someone that you really shouldn't, and you might get angry when you shouldn't. And so recognize the signs before it happens. And then traumatic events that you go through. Realize that traumatic events are going to come along, and that can be in the form of different things. It can be a move. Moves are very traumatic. So take the time that you need to just move, settle in. Don't push yourself too hard. Having a baby, losing someone in life, deaths, divorce, separation, financial problems. There's so many things that can be traumatic events that happen in your life. So when you go through those, give yourself grace. And my rule of thumb is I'm quick to speak, and I've learned this through the years. I've learned how to sometimes you just need to be quiet and be reflective and maybe pray more than you talk. And so that's one area that I've come a long way since I was younger. I still have a long way to go, but I've come a long way. Just when you're going through a really stressful time, I'm not talking about not venting or not talking to your close friends about it. I'm talking about the way you interact with other people. Sometimes when we go through stressful things, we take that stress out on other people, and it's not their fault. And you don't really want to be that way. You don't want people to be walking around on eggshells around you. So you have to be careful when you're going through a traumatic event not to take that out on others. And that could be even in your home, taking it out on your kids, taking it out on your husband. You have to be really careful, because as moms, we let some of the things that we're going through kind of come through in our, as we're raising our kids or we're interacting with our husband or our kids, because they are around us 24/7. So they're going to be the ones that see, our stress and our frustrations and stuff. But we really have to learn how to rein in our emotions during those times, because we don't want to hurt them just because we're hurting. You don't want to ever hurt other people just because you're hurting. So that's what I would suggest with that. So, but let's talk about hormonal problems. What can you do with hormonal problems? And this is where the supplements are going to be coming in, which I can see in the chat that you guys have been talking about supplements. So yeah, keep it up. If you have any questions, Nicole and Sarah, they know way more about this subject than me. They can answer any questions that you guys have about supplements. But I would suggest vitamin D, especially for those of us in the Midwest that have super crazy winters. It gets dark by 5 o'clock, and we're not out in the sun very much because it's, -10 sometimes. So when it comes to that, you're going to need some vitamin D. So I take vitamin D every day. If you do studies on vitamin D, you'll find out that most people are deficient when it comes to vitamin D. So definitely look into taking that, especially if you live in an area where you're shut up all winter. The sun. Now, try it. This goes along with the vitamin D, but definitely try to get into the sun. If it's just a brisk walk outside, if you're just sitting in the sun in your home, we have some big bay windows in front of our living room. And sometimes I'll just go and just try to sit directly in the sunlight as it's coming in just to get some sun, because the sun really is rejuvenating. Exercise. Now, my son bought me a treadmill 2 weeks ago. Since I've hit 40, guys, my weight gain, it's not really weight gain. I can't lose any weight. It's intense. Since I've had Hannah, it's been horrible. I've doing everything. And this is all keyed into hormones too. But I was just watching a video today where it said 40 women, when they hit 40, women that are 40 to 50, 2/3 of them are overweight and 1/3 of them are obese. And I am telling you, since I hit 40, it has been tough. And I know my hormones are a little out of whack because I just had a baby. I just nursed for 10 months. You know, I've only not been nursing or not been pregnant now for 2 months, 2.5 months, something like that. So I know it's going to take a little while for me to get balanced out. But my son bought me a treadmill 2 weeks ago, and just me walking 2 miles, I try to do 2 miles Monday through Saturday. It is helping my mood so much. So just even a walk. If you can't walk outside, buy a treadmill. You know, it was just a few $100s off of Amazon. I know that if you check Facebook Marketplace, sometimes they're there for $50, $25. You just have to get there and haul it, you know. So do some type of exercises. There's so many exercises on YouTube. If it's just stretching exercises, if you're really tired and you're newly pregnant, just some stretching exercises will help you feel better. I definitely think a walk every day, though, getting in 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day is really good for you and your mental being. Now, if you have a lot of little kids, I remember writing a story one time. I was crazy. I had like 3 kids. I don't know, like 4, 5, 4, 3. And I would go down while they were awake and try to run on the treadmill. And it was in this dark dungeon of a basement. But we had this this really big vent in the house that we lived in. And I would be directly under that. And I would like put a movie on for the kids, go down, try to run for a half hour. Well, like pretty soon I would see the kids like sticking fingers down the vent, like throwing things down the vent, saying, "Mom, when are you going to be done?" It's crazy. I can't believe what I went through when I was younger trying to exercise. But it is really hard. I would suggest if you want, I would put them to bed early if you have little kids and then do it. You know, if you put them to bed by 7, you can exercise at 8. I'm going to go home and walk 2 miles after this. You could do it during nap time. There are ways to get in a half hour of exercise. I did 2 miles in 30 minutes. That's a horrible time, I know. But I'm like alternating fast walk, slow run. So I'm not going for any medals when it comes to time. I'm just trying to get in my 2 miles. So I did that, the other day, Friday or Saturday, when they were taking a nap. So there are times to get it in. But then just self-evaluating. Like eliminating the stressors in your life. Like I was talking about earlier, what's causing you the most stress? Well, are your kids causing you the most stress? Why? Why are they causing you the most stress? Are they completely out of control? Well, then try to get a handle on that. Obviously raising kids is just always going to have some type of stress, but there are things that you can kind of get a handle on, such as putting them on a nap schedule, putting them on a sleep schedule. For me, that's super important. And I feel like my whole life is out of control when my babies aren't sleeping well, if that makes sense. But that's, for me, sleep is a huge deal. So to eliminate that stressor, I have to get them on a sleep schedule. So that is super, super important to me. Do I have too much going on? Do I have too many outside activities? Am I constantly running here, running there? I need to cut back a little bit, if it's stressing me out too bad. So eliminate the stressors, especially when you're first and we're going to go over this when you're in the first trimester. You have to just get down to the bare bones of life, because you're feeling so awful and you're feeling so run down that most things are going to take a back seat to just getting through life. Growing a baby is a big, big deal. Don't downplay that. It's, your body's been taken over. Your body's been taken over and you're growing a human being. So don't downplay the importance of that. Okay, so what's one of the most powerful natural depression herbs? St. John's wort. I have never taken that actually. So, and then Sarah said my midwife recommended vitamin D, always, fish oil, and any herbal supplements I was up for trying. Yes, I think it was Jen. Jen Bay told me that she was on a regimen of vitamin D, fish oil, and I think it was St. John's wort. I think those are the same three things that she was on, and she said it really helped her. So, St. John wort, I have never tried, but yeah, like Nicole said, it does interact with prescription medication, and it's photosensitive. So, but it's worth researching. And then Jessica said, stress is so hard. Hey, Jessica, when raising kids. Amen, sister. I'd love to hear what you can do when you're run down and feeling anxious. That was me all last year. Any tips? So like I said, your kids are a little bit older, so this won't really apply to you. But for me, the big thing is when I feel like my life is out of control, it's usually because, one, I'm not keeping up with the important things such as school, meals, grocery planning, meal planning, Bible reading. I just feel like, and sleep. I feel like my life is completely out of control. When I get my babies and everyone on a good sleep schedule, including me, 10 to 6, 10 to 7, that's about what I need. I desperately need my sleep. And when I have my ducks lined up in a row when it comes to schoolwork, grades done, grades recorded, I know what the kids are doing in school. I know that they're excelling at it. I know that they understand their math. That is a big one for me. And then also, just when I'm on top of my Bible reading, that all those things kind of really help my stress level when it comes to that. As far as like church activities don't stress me out really. I'm an extrovert, so I like that. So that's not really a stressor. The things that used to stress me out was planning the showers and the Christmas stuff and all of that. That used to stress me out. But now that's one of my lower stress things because I'm not really doing it much anymore. The ladies have really stepped up here and they do that. Thank you, ladies. So you guys really don't know how much I appreciate that. So, and I'm always telling the ladies too, Morgan, if this gets to be too much, you better tell me because I don't want you guys to be stressed out. See, when it comes to everyone at church too, yes, I appreciate the help, but if it's going to stress you out, I'd rather be stressed out than have you be stressed out. That's just how I am. So I would rather do it and be stressed out than have you do it and you be stressed out. So don't get stressed out when you're doing it. Otherwise, I would be like, I'll just do it because I don't want you stressed out. I want everyone to be happy. I want everyone to want to come here and be happy and not be stressed out while doing it. So, yeah, that's just a little tidbit. So, oh, that's cute, Chanello. She said, as for getting a handle on stress, I've decided to make a self-care kit that I can go to when I'm feeling the burnout coming up. Look up self-care kit and make up a box that works for you. That seems so Chanello-ish. That's so cute. See, I like all these little ideas you guys are doing. See, yes, Chanello, that is exactly what I do. I'm glad you said this. She just said, the other day, I told my husband I needed to get out of the house. I went to Starbucks and sat in a corner by myself, and it was amazing. I came home feeling so much better. Yes. When I'm feeling on the edge of that, I'll say, I need to leave. So I will drive somewhere by myself. I will order a coffee. I will just walk around the store by myself. It's so nice. And it helps with my mental, it helps you be a better mom. So don't feel ashamed for taking 10 minutes, a half hour, an hour, 2 hours. Don't feel ashamed taking that. You're going to be a better mom for it. Your kids are going to be in a healthier environment because of it. So, thanks, Sarah. But it's all because of you guys. I mean, before, when we first started the church, I had to do it all. Guys, I remember this one time we had to do this funeral. So we were in our new house. So it was, let's see, we've lived there 9 years or something. So it was probably just a little bit into living there. So maybe 8 years ago. So my oldest at the time would have been 12. So I had like 6 kids, 12 and under. And we had a funeral at our church, and it was going to be a lot of people there for afterwards. And I decided I'll just make the food. I'll save the church. The church didn't have much income coming in at that point. My husband's working a full-time job. He did for almost 10 years. And I'm like, I'll just make all the food. No problem. What was I thinking? So I decided to make this like pasta, I don't know, with like meatballs and meat sauce or something. And I literally stayed up till 2 or 3 in the morning making this food for about 100 people. And I only had the one fridge. So like we had all this stuff stacked. And then I got up, got all my kids ready, and was at the funeral by 9 or 10 the next day. Played the piano, made sure all the food was in the oven, rotated the food. It went really well. I had like French bread and salad and mostaccioli. I asked some of the women, some brought desserts. That was stupid and that was crazy. Why did I do that? I don't know. But that's just one of the times I learned I'm never doing this again. That was stupid. We can order meat and make sandwiches and vegetable trays and fruit trays. Why? I don't know. Just learn your limitations. Lower your expectations. Don't overdo it. I completely overdid it, and that was stupid. So learn from me. Please learn from me. So let's see. Yeah. So eliminating the stressors, and then you know what? Get rid of the trash in your life. So what is stressing you out? Is it what's in your news feed? Is it social media drama? Is it, just the news in general? I would recommend if that is stressing you out, just get rid of it. Social media is not that important. Facebook's not that important. Instagram's not that important. Just get rid of it if it's stressing you out. But yeah, then the herbal supplements, I think they've been talking about at St. John's wort. If you're having hormonal problems, Vitex is a great one, or chasteberry. That helps a lot. Ashwagandha seemed to help me after Hannah was born. I did feel a difference versus when I took moringa was another one that helped. That helps supplement breast milk. It also is supposed to help with moods. So ashwagandha helped me. St. John's, I didn't take that. Vitex. Let's see. I had a special one that I ordered online. What time is it? Okay. I had a special one that I ordered online that was specifically for postpartum anxiety, depression, but it was also compatible with breastfeeding. And I think that was through Pink Stork, maybe, but it was pretty pricey. It was like $30 for a bottle and it only lasted a month. So I only got that a couple times. And then I just I figured out the key herbs in that formula. And then I just ordered them, like the moringa by itself or the ashwagandha or the shatavari. And I just ordered that by itself. And then that made it last a lot longer. So I did notice the difference when I was on those. But then recognize the difference between depression versus mood swings. Mood swings are, you'll feel great most of the time. And then 30 minutes later, you're just down in the dumps. You don't know why. Your hormones just bottom out. And, you're kind of depressed for a little bit. But then they're on the upswing again. Or you have an outburst. You don't know why you're feeling great. But then you just get angry and you have an outburst. Depression is something that doesn't go away. You're in a constant state of darkness, feeling like you're in a hole that you can't crawl out of day after day after day. If you're in that, please seek help. Maybe you want to try the herbs for a little bit, see if they help. But if they don't, please seek help. I can't stress that enough. So definitely get help if needed. But let's talk about first trimester woes a little bit, because I know there are some. Yes, Sarah, I really think chasteberry is really, really good for your hormones. And that is in that conception pill that I rave about. I love that conception pill. And maca root, that's another one too. But yeah, that definitely regulates you and helps. It's helped so many people get pregnant, and that's a really, really good one. Chasteberry is one of the best ones that I've found for hormonal things. But let's talk about first trimester woes. So when you're first pregnant, obviously the biggest thing that you're going to have is tiredness. I am so tired when I'm first pregnant. But realize that when you're in the first trimester, your body's working hard the entire pregnancy. But during those first 12 weeks, your body is literally like growing cells in a brain and of another human being. You're literally making a human being. Obviously, God's knitting the baby in your womb. But yes, your body's doing the work too. So you're going to be extremely, extremely tired. Now, when the placenta takes over at 12 weeks, and I know this seems very rudimentary to some and very basic, but there's actually a lot of women that have no idea what's going on. When they first get pregnant, they're like, what is going on? So during those first 12 weeks, your body is making this baby, developing this baby. All of the major organs, the main important things are during those first 12 weeks. That's why they say to avoid any of the things that you can, especially during those first 12 weeks, and why folate acid is so important. Now, there are mixed emotions about even folate, and I say folate, not folic. Folic acid doesn't really do much. It's folate that your body needs, the folate acid, and that is also in those conception pills or in the glow pills that the conception line makes. That's the good folate acid that your body needs. Some women say that there's a correlation between that and tongue ties or lip ties when their baby is born. And the babies that they have not taken folate acid from, their babies have not had the tongue ties. There are also foods that you can get that from as well if you just want to double up on those foods. I think spinach is one of them. Look up the foods that have that in it. So, but you're going to be super, super tired. So once 12 weeks comes, most of the most important foundational things of the baby are made. So then your placenta takes over. And when your placenta takes over, you'll notice that in the second trimester, your nauseousness seems to go away. You have a burst of energy. Your second trimester is going to be the best that you're going to feel. Those 3 months, you're going to feel amazing. You're not super big, so you're not super uncomfortable. Then the third trimester hits. The tiredness comes back because by this time you're big, the baby's growing. From this point on, the baby pretty much will just work on lung development and the final touches to organs. The baby is capable of life from about 26 weeks on, but it would be obviously the closer you get to your due date, the better, because you want that baby to develop as long as you can. So I always breathe a sigh of relief once, even though I've never gone into labor really early, once I hit 26 weeks, because I know the baby is capable of life outside of the womb at that point. So, yeah, the first 12 weeks are going to be the most important when it comes to baby development, and you're going to find that that's when you feel your worst, probably. When you're the most tired, when you're the most nauseous, when maybe your hormones are fluctuating. So, just do the necessary things when you're going through that. Don't worry about all the frills of life. Just muddle through. I remember when I first got pregnant, I would actually sleep till I've been blessed to be a stay-at-home wife and then a stay-at-home mom our entire marriage. So I was able to sleep in till 10 or 11, and believe me, I did. And I had no shame in that because I was so tired. I'd never been that tired in my entire life. So I would sleep till 10 or 11. I would get up and I would just do the basic things. Our house was super tiny. We lived in a super tiny duplex. There wasn't much to do. So I would just tidy up, do whatever dishes, mop the floor. I probably kept the house cleaner then than I do now. And just do the necessary things. I would make sure I had a meal for my husband when he got home from work. And, life was, I have 8 kids now. So I look back and, you're so tired and you're so whatever, you're adjusting to this pregnancy thing, but life was good. There wasn't that much on my plate back then. So my husband was an assistant pastor, but a lot of the stuff he did on his own, such as he was still going to college. He was doing a correspondence college through the church that we were at. So he had college there like one night a week, and there was men's soul winning one night a week. So he would do things like that. And then I pretty much would get to do a hobby or whatever. And I would say if this is your first baby, just enjoy it. Soak it up. Don't feel guilty about taking a nap. Don't feel guilty about taking life slow. you're going to have that baby and your life's going to change. You know, you're going to see. Just wait. I can tell you all I want, but it's going to come down to just seeing. Just remember, it will get better. This is just a season. It's a short, you know, the first 3 months are going to be tough. The last 3 months are going to be tough. But I mean, just think of that wonderful reward at the end. So supplements while pregnant, folate acid, Vitex, vitamin Bs. Some women react badly to vitamin Bs. Some women seem it helped me. So once again, just listen to your body. Iron, if you need iron, which I did with a couple of my pregnancies, need iron, and I took Floridex. It's a liquid iron, and it's made from plants, I believe. I don't know if that's right, but there's pictures of plants on it. It's a really good, I think it's made in Germany. It's a really good iron supplement if you're looking. It doesn't constipate. So I would highly recommend, I think it's called Floridex. I think that's it. If anyone knows, put it in the chat. But I got that. You have to refrigerate it. It has a pleasant taste. It doesn't taste bad, but you have to be careful because it will sting your teeth. So, but yeah, just ask for help if you need it. If you're there's some women, they have the hypermesis. I don't know if that's how you say it. They literally cannot hold anything down. And if you have other children, you might have to ask a friend, can you just come and watch the children while I throw up all day long? You know, just don't feel ashamed in asking for help. Definitely don't feel ashamed. And then remembering that it's just a season and it will be back to normal soon. Plus, the end is so worth it when you have that baby. You know, and what can your spouse do to help? These are just things that maybe my husband and I have learned through these seasons. As you start having kids and they start getting older, they can help a lot. They can help, especially when you're in the first stages of pregnancy. But if you're just starting out, you know, you kind of feel helpless in a way with the first baby, you and your husband, because your husband doesn't really know what to do because he's not the one carrying the baby. And he just knows that this woman he married is like having these mood swings, and she never was a crier, but now she's crying, and she never used to be angry. She used to think that he was like king of the world and he was so funny, but now she's just getting irritated at everything he's doing. So as women, we need to realize that too, that, you know, our husbands, they really don't know how to respond when we're going through all this. So just try not to lash out at your husband. Try not to, once again, because you're feeling bad, make him feel bad because of it. You know, so what can your husband do? What can your spouse do? Well, obviously, first of all, be understanding. Give you a lot of grace. Realize that wasn't my wife talking. That was the pregnancy hormones talking, you know, and ask what's important to you, or vice versa. You ask your husband, what's the most important thing to you? Top three things that you think is important. When you come home from work every night, what are the three most important things? And then focus on those three important things. Same with the husband with you, you know, it goes both ways. Honey, what's the most important thing for you? What can I do to help? Communication, obviously, is the biggest thing. You know, what can I do to help you? Do you want me to go out at midnight and get your craving? Do you want me to give you a foot massage? Do you want me to, you know, rub your temples? Or, you know, when you're in the last stages of pregnancy, do you want me to rub your legs because they're so swollen? Whatever, you know, just ask each other what you need, top three things, you know, ask what's important to you, and then lower your expectations for sure. You have to have lower expectations. Now, when it comes to the first one, I don't know. I can't say at 20 when I got married that I really had these super high expectations. I feel like when I had 3 kids, I did. And I think for me, I think a lot of it, okay, this is what I pinpointed in younger parents when they have these super high expectations and maybe they overcompensate, or I think it's a lack of just knowing what to do. It's insecurity. You're not very secure. You've never raised a kid. You've never had a kid. You have no idea what you're doing. And I didn't either. Listen, the first doctor's appointment, 2 or 3 days, my babies all had jaundice, so we had to get that checked. The first doctor's appointment, like literally 3 days after he was born, I forgot everything when I went to the doctor. I forgot the diaper bag. He had a blowout at the doctor. I had to ask for a diaper and wipes to change him. And that was super embarrassing because I had forgotten the diaper bag. Okay, we totally, even though I was the oldest of 5, my husband was the oldest of 5, nothing prepares you for having kids other than having kids. Nothing prepares you for raising kids other than raising kids. I mean, obviously we have the Bible and that gives us guidelines, but there's no describing it. I can't explain exactly to you how it is. You just have to have the kid. So I think a lot of the overcompensating and the super high expectations and expecting your 1-year-old to act like they're 5 and communicate with you and never throw fits and never cry and never be tired, that is just insecurity. And as you get older, now it really doesn't bother me what people think. Kelly throws a fit here. I don't get all flustered and have an anxiety attack because I'm worried that people think I'm not a good parent. You know what I do? I deal with it how I see fit. And if one of my kids does something at church that's wrong, that needs to be dealt with, I don't make a big show about it. I get home, I deal with it, it's done. I don't need to show everyone, I dealt with it. My kid messed up. How would we feel if God did that with us? We mess up too. Do we want God booming from heaven? I dealt with her. I punished her. Everyone look, she was punished. Think of it that way. Treat your child how you want to be treated. So I think a lot of it is insecurity at the beginning. So having lower expectations, you can't expect your 1-year-old to act like an adult. They're 1. You can't expect your 5-year-old to act like an adult. They're 5. You can't expect your 10-year-old to act like an adult. They're 10. They've only been alive for just a few number of years. So it's going to take a long time. Even as adults, we're still processing our emotions and our feelings and our reactions and our temper and our anger and our, so give some grace to each other and your kids. And I was actually talking about marriage, so I don't even know how I got started on that, but whatever. But yeah, what can you do when you feel just so rotten and you're having mood swings, your hormones all over? So remember, just because you feel bad, don't take it out on your spouse, don't take it out on your kids, don't take it out on others. Just because you're hurting, you don't need to hurt others. That's the biggest takeaway from all this, I think. Think before you speak. I don't care what people say, words do hurt. Call me a snowflake or whatever, but words hurt. They hurt. And you can really do a lot of damage to relationships with your words. I've seen relationships destroyed because of words spoken in anger. I've seen relationships destroyed because of unforgiveness and bitterness and evil speaking and clamoring and gossiping and whispering. I think the most damaging thing in life when it comes to relationships is words. So think before you speak. Try to make the best of it and just do what you can. Just muddle through somehow. It's okay. It's okay. If you have to just get some things out of your life, it's okay. So, yes, M. Everly. As an newlywed, hardest thing is knowing how to chill down with his more reckless behaviors that might have been okay as single, but would be dangerous for a family. My chill goes out the window. Yeah, and you know what? Okay, so part of that is just learning to trust your husband and have faith in your husband. And I do feel like when you're newlywed, because things are so new, it's a lot harder. But as you both grow together, and you learn more about each other, your faith and trust in him is going to grow. His faith and trust in you is going to grow. And you're just going to become, a working team and just meld together. The first 5 years were definitely the hardest, I would say. And that's when you're going to have to just do a lot of soul searching and talking and figuring things out. As time goes on, you just kind of know what each other thinks. As time goes on, you know what the red button issues are. As time goes on, you know if I say this, this is going to cause a fight. And then you have to proceed. Do I want to cause a fight? Am I in a fighting mood right now? Because it's going to cause a fight if I say this. So you learn these things as you've been married a long time. Yeah, so Yes. Always remember our safety is of the Lord. One of my greatest challenges in my family is realizing I can't keep them safe from the world. I can within reason, but ultimately it's up to God. Oh, I missed a lot of chat. Sorry, guys. Oh yeah. I don't think that was taking anything. Yes, that's awesome, Chanello, and that's a huge thing, and I'm glad your church does know that because some churches need to be reminded of it. She said, I'm so grateful that my church family are okay with knowing that my kids will throw fits and misbehave sometimes. All kids will. And you know what? If you see kids that don't, that always makes me scratch my head, and I wonder what is their home like. If they're like little perfectly well-behaved robots, I don't want my kids to be perfectly well-behaved robots. I want them to have, they were all born with completely different personalities and wills. Why would I try to make them into little robots that have no will of their own? That's just not for me. And then she said, they're not being put on pedestal just because they're the pastor's kids. I like that. I don't think anyone should be put on a pedestal. So, yeah, you do. You learn a lot about yourself. And I feel like, too, when you get married, you realize a lot of your strengths, but then a lot of your weaknesses, too. And the person that you're married to now knows all your weaknesses. They know what you lack in. They know what your strengths are. They know what your weaknesses are. And it's the same way with kids. Our kids aren't stupid. They see the real you. They see the real, my kids see the real me. They know that I'm not perfect and I mess up and I lose my temper and I'm grouchy when I shouldn't be. They know when I'm in a bad mood. And sometimes I have to realize, okay, I have to make a conscious decision. I can have a really bad day for the rest of the day. I can give in to my bad feelings right now and my bad mood, and I can make life unpleasant for everyone. Or I can chill out. I can go take some time, 15 minutes by myself, drink some coffee. That always helps. Some tea, whatever. And I can consciously not give in to my bad feelings and my bad mood. And I can force myself to be pleasant because then the whole house will be pleasant. Then everyone else will be pleasant and life will be better. And I don't want my kids having all these memories of mom just being in a grouchy mood all the time and having to walk on eggshells around mom and never knowing when she's going to freak out. And I don't want that for my kids. I want them to think of home as a safe place, a happy place, a haven. I want them, after they've grown up and moved out, to want to come back to my home because it's enjoyable being around me. So, I try to keep all those things in mind when I'm having a bad mood because, sometimes we can have a bad week or we can have a bad month or whatever. And I don't want my kids to remember that horrible month in 2021, so even when I was going through a lot of my postpartum stuff, I had to keep that in perspective. I am having anxiety right now, but I don't need to make my kids feel like they're having anxiety too. I don't want that for them. So, my husband and I grew up together. We really did. And while I've definitely come a long way, I still fail and I fumble and I mess up. I've always been a hot mess since we got married because I got pregnant right off the bat. My husband sometimes is like, who is this woman? But within a month, I was pregnant. We had 3 kids in 3 years. And I'm not going to lie, life was rough. I have never tried to sugarcoat things with you guys. I had a lot of dark valleys in those years. It was tough. I never had a moment to myself. Like Abby cried all day and was up all night. It was tough. But amid life and even among the tough parts, there were these wonderful, beautiful blessings that God brought in my life. And they were my kids. It was the little moments. It was when Abby would fall asleep on me. And when Tommy and Jason would bring me flowers from the yard, dandelions, and when they would tell me they loved me, when they would kiss me on the cheek. I have a bucket list like everybody, but I'm happy with my life right now and what I've accomplished. I'm 40 years old. Life is hard, and there's still nitty-gritty days where I just want to throw in the towel. I'm having bad mood swings that day. It's that time of my cycle where I'm grouchy. And, most days I'm thinking of 1,000,000 and two things, and I'm juggling so many things, and I'm trying to think, where can I fix this and where can I fix this? I have to take each day as it comes. Otherwise, I would get overwhelmed with life. I would. And that's another one of my tips. Just take each day by itself. Don't think, oh my goodness, I have 8 months left of this pregnancy. How am I going to do this? Take each day as it comes. Otherwise, you're going to get overwhelmed. I've learned to say no to the non-important things and to focus on the most important things. And, let's talk for a moment, just real quick. I'm almost done. But what about some of the spiritual things? Okay, what about soul winning? What about being involved in church ministries? Well, once you get married and once you get pregnant, your ministry becomes your husband and your children. Your ministry is them so that they can have ministry. I take care of my kids here during soul winning time so my husband can go soul winning, because he is going to get a lot more people saved out on his own with a silent partner than I am going to lugging, wearing a baby, pushing another one in a stroller. There's distractions with babies. I try to do some of the big soul winning days, but I am not able to go out soul winning weekly. But my husband is. My husband goes out twice weekly most weeks. So realize that your most important ministry here on this earth is your husband and is your children. And if other things have to take a back seat, they have to take a back seat. Whether that's soul winning, whether that's being involved in ministries around the church. Here it would be like music, I guess. But when I had younger kids, I did play the piano some, but I was not near involved in music as I am now with, just the singing and the instruments. But since I have older kids, I'm able to be more involved in things like that. And realize that your time will come, that you can be re-involved. When you have younger kids, you're going to have to pretty much focus on them. And you will get hobbies again. You will get to do your interests again. But that time of your life is later. It's not right now maybe. So, Chanello, I can't even believe that you get grumpy. So whatever. Maybe your kids can sense that, but you always seem so calm and just peaceful. My husband was talking when he came back today when we took Abby out for her birthday. Her birthday's today. She's 17. And we took her out for her birthday date. And he was saying, women from South Korea and women from Nigeria are some of the most happy, calm, peaceful women I've ever seen. And I have to agree with him. Everyone I've known from those places, they're just so happy. And your family, Chanel, even your husband, he has this big happy laugh. And you guys are just so happy and peaceful. And I really want to be you. I do. I'm not just saying that. I love your personality. I feel like you're always calm, and I'm very high strung. So I'm trying to be more like that. Calm and collected. Not so much Anne of Green Gables, more Diana, if that makes sense. So, Chinese, that's so sweet. Julia, that's funny. Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, I've learned the art of self-evaluation. I was just talking about how I want to be more like Chanello. What's working in my life? What's not? And readjust to that. And I'm learning more and more how to quell my emotions and my hormones and not to take my frustrations out on other people. And I don't want my kids to feel like they are responsible for how I feel or how I react to situations. That does not need to be their burden. My emotions, my anger, my bad feelings, my bad moods are my responsibility. They are no one else's responsibility. And my kids are going to have bad days and they're going to mess up. And I don't need to base my emotions off of what they do. Or even my husband. My husband's going to have a bad day and he's going to snap at me and he's going to mess up. And I don't need to base off my reactions off of what he does. I am only responsible for me and my moods and my hormones and my reactions to situations. I'm not responsible for anyone else. So, and then Sarah said, this has been such a humbling shift for me, and I can't just jump to do things because nap time is important and having time at home is so good for Mavis's attitude. It really is. And I've noticed when we're just super crazy busy here, it really has a direct impact on my kids when we have no schedule. We have no school this week because of Thanksgiving. And it's probably, my kids' attitudes are probably going to take a hit because of it, because there's more screen time. There's less school time. There's no school time this week, and just no structure. So yeah, next week's probably going to be like that rebuilding time of the attitudes and all that. But you know, it's also the holidays, so I do make exceptions for different things like that because they're so important to me. Holidays and being around family is priority in our home. So, you know, I'm not going to worry about nap time or sleep time. We'll get that readjusted next week. So there are times in life when, you know, we do have those exceptions to what's going on. So yes, she did have a very good birthday. I felt bad last year. We tried to make it up to her this year too, because last year I had like a 4-day-old baby, and we had just gotten back from the hospital, so she didn't have much of a birthday last year. So, and that's just another thing, realizing that there's going to be seasons, and sometimes you're going to get to do things and sometimes you're not. And she was really good with it last year when she turned 16, but she did seem to have a good birthday, so thank you for that. But anyways, I think that's about it. I just noticed I'm like really off-centered with the camera. That's okay. But I think that's about it. If you guys have any questions, you know, leave them definitely in the chat for anyone that's knowledgeable when it comes to herbs, Nicole or Sarah, or anything else. Go ahead and leave them. I said the few that I know, but there is, I know there's more. I know there's more out there, but Nicole would be the one to ask about that. So I'm hoping that helps. You know, if anyone else has this, the chat had a lot of good suggestions from what I see. If I missed any questions, I'm sorry. I'm sure the ladies were doing a good job answering it. Some women know more than me when it comes to this, because like I said, this is not an area I've struggled with, the exception of my last pregnancies from Allie on down. Even my first pregnancies, I didn't really have a postpartum. I had no postpartum issues. So it wasn't until about the last 11 years that I've struggled. The older I get, the more I struggle with the postpartum stuff. But then I even out, and then I really only have, you know, 1 week where I have to be careful about my moods and about my emotions. And that's just when I've learned to control my tongue. Sometimes just don't need to say anything. Just let it be. Not everyone needs to be corrected. Not everyone needs to know your opinion. Just let it be, especially on those weeks when you know that it's going to be a tough week. So that would be my suggestion. I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. Thank you, KJV. This is my natural look. I like to straighten my hair normally because it's just so easy to do. I just brush it the next day and go. This takes a little bit more effort because it's curly. So, but this is the look God gave me. People used to know me as the girl with the curly hair. So, yeah. God gave me curls, and I don't really have many kids that have them. So sometimes I just get in the curly mood and I do it that way. So thanks for being here, guys. I'm going to go watch the Kyle Rittenhouse interview now. So he was supposed to be doing an interview tonight. So I'm going to be going watching that. I am very interested in, I watched a lot of his case. So very interesting case. I'm sure you guys know where I stand on that. So anyways, have a great Thanksgiving. And I hope to see you next week. All right. Bye, ladies.